Alright y'all, so I saw this Reddit post talking about the future of Unbound and the fact Criterion is being pulled to work on the new Battlefield game. Honestly, I have my thoughts about this and I have a new video dropping tomorrow to discuss them, but in today's video I want to focus on how you guys in the community feel. If you guys enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and let's dive in. Alright, so I have not looked at this post at all. I don't know if the answers are serious or not serious, but we're just going to go into this real quick and just see what everybody is feeling about, the news coming out and what people want to see for the next game, right? So, with Criterion being whisked away to work on the new Battlefield, when and what do you expect from the next Need for Speed game? And this is the post that he's talking about right here, or referencing. Alright, so let's go into it. Humvees are going to be drifting now. The day that they add a Humvee into Unbound is gonna be a bad day. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Big body cars are already a pain to be driving in general, just because of the traffic and not trying to hit anything and other bracers and all that sort of stuff. Imagine if the Humvee had the new handling, right? And it was automatically meta, and you just see Humvees, 8 people with a Humvee, right, on a small track, like track day special. Imagine how bad that would be. That'd be insane. That'd be crazy. Okay. Not to expect a new Need for Speed till at least 2026 or maybe 27, which is insane. Hey, do y'all know I'm gonna be 26 years old when the next Need for Speed game drops? That's almost Unk status. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. That's insane. We had the same thing happen between Unbound and Heat, yep, and caused Need for Speed Unbound to be pushed from a 2021 release to 2022. They can obviously continue with Kaizen for year 3 depending on if the team or part of it, right, is allowed to support Unbound, right? If they are allowed to support Unbound, I personally think that they will, as long as Unbound is making enough money for EA to warrant that type of manpower from Battlefield to Unbound, if that makes sense, right? This is what I was thinking as well, because Unbound is still getting updates for the online portion. Exactly, because online is where majority of the player base is. They already said that for story mode, they're not going to be touching it this year. Even though they said this year, that is for year 2. Remember, we're thinking about a year 3, so they may be doing stuff for year 3 regarding the story. Take that with a grain of salt. It's not confirmed. It is not confirmed, y'all. Don't get too excited. Don't go around running and telling people I told y'all. It's not confirmed. I promise. Okay, I'm expecting it to be in a city with the same list of cars, same parts, 5 to 6 new cars, 2 new legends, a forgettable story, and a community that doesn't like break the drift. I'm ready, I guess. You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. Probably, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. 9 times out of 10, it's probably gonna be this. But we gotta look forward to it, right? We can't just have a negative attitude about it. The same list of cars, who knows, right? A lot of the cars that are in Unbound, I did not expect to be in Unbound. Same parts, maybe. I definitely think we're gonna have the garage system back. That was a pretty good system. Just upgrade the garage and get access to all the parts. I don't think they're gonna be doing the Heat thing again, where you gotta go in nighttime, unless they want to add nighttime to either Unbound or the new game. So honestly, who knows, right? 5 to 6 new cars, 2 new legends, a forgettable story though. I made a video. If you guys have not seen that, I did make a video on a story I think would be really nice for the next Need for Speed, because I don't think they're going to do anything for this one. Unfortunately, I think it's just too far in the game's life cycle to actually add on to the single player. Plus, they said in the feedback that they're not going to be touching it for this year. Maybe for year 3. Who knows, right? So, a forgettable story. I think that if they were to put more into the backstories of each and every character, why we're running from the cops, why we are with the people that we're with, if they give us flashbacks, if they give us something to actually root for, right? Not just we're just running from cops or the government or another racer. Give us something that we can root for. Give us a character that we can be on the side of. Give us maybe an undercover cop that's in the racing scene, and maybe that undercover cop has to bring down other racers, or maybe the racer side gets to them and they go against their cop brethren, right? Something that can make us root for somebody. Something that isn't super forgettable like this gentleman has said right here. Alrighty, I'm gonna call this, may not age well, but like people are doing with previous games, people will come back and say NFS Unbound isn't as bad as people made it to be, or some clickbaity title as Unbound is a misunderstood masterpiece. So me personally, I do have a video that says Need for Speed Unbound is great. But I've been saying that though. Of course I have a bunch of videos that are criticizing things that are being done, But I will stand on that Unbound is the best Need for Speed game that have come out in a very, very, very long time. If not the best Need for Speed game to come out of all time. Everything that has been added, the updates, all that sort of stuff. I mean, even the quality of life stuff. Of course, when updates drop, games are crashing, saves are being deleted, games won't even start. EA app, notorious for being terrible, right? But this game and the feedback they've listened to the feedback, they've updated the game accordingly. Yes, granted, it takes a little while, but it's still being done, right? Heat didn't even get anything, not even a DLC. They got a car that you had to pay for, right? We're getting cars that we don't have to pay for. You can if you want to, but we're getting amazing cars that are free. You don't have to pay for new tracks, new events, PvP, new types of races, Gauntlet, Hot Pursuit, Drift and Drag, all that sort of stuff. So Unbound is great. I think that what they did, they definitely came back. Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were iffy at best. 6, 7, and 8 kind of picked it back up. I think Unbound is great though. That's the bottom line. Unbound was greenlit to have 2 years worth of updates that add a bit of everything into the game to tie people over. It's full force forward after the catastrophic failure of 2042. Exactly. Right. See, after they saw that 2042 had bombed on release, they're bringing everybody. They're bringing the Avengers to fight that and bring Battlefield back up to what it was. Because all the other Battlefield games, except for Hardline, were amazing, right? They were, and even Hardline was better than 2042 on release, 100%. So them bringing every single studio was not surprising to me at all. I actually talking about that after this. If Criterion are busy working on Battlefield, how about letting another studio have a go at NFS? I mean, that would be amazing, to be honest. What was it, Black Box, right? That made some of the best Need for Speed games of all time. I think that if they were to have a go at Need for Speed, I think that would be amazing. I don't understand why Criterion has to be the one to do it. Maybe it's just their turn. Kind of like how Activision has like Treyarch, Raven, Infinity Ward that are doing their sort of thing, right? Like they have a studio that creates a Call of Duty game every year and they cycle through the 3, right? Maybe it's just Criterion's time. Maybe they have a contract for multiple Need for Speed games, and because they've only made 2 with Hot Pursuit Remastered and then Unbound, did they make? I don't think they made, no, because Ghost made Heat, right? So I think that they might be on contract for another Need for Speed, and that's why another studio is not allowed to make another Need for Speed game. I think they had the license for that with Criterion. A remaster of the old games would be dope. So I did make a video on this talking about why a remaster maybe it won't be as good as people think it might be. And I'll give you all a synopsis of that. And the reason for that is licenses are old, they've expired. Music licenses, car licenses, all that sort of stuff has expired by this point, right? And I don't think EA is going to put the money down in order to have a remaster completely. So I think a lot of stuff will be missing, and that's not what we want, right? I think if they're going to bring back another Need for Speed game, it needs to be a complete rework, like Resident Evil. The new Resident Evils that have come out, 2, 3, and 4, complete remakes. That's what I think actually needs to occur if they're going to bring back an older game, not a remaster. Why? And I get it, a remaster, get that nice nostalgia feeling, but with updated graphics. But imagine if we had that nostalgia with updated graphics and, like, in addition to the story, more cars, different music, different setting. Not too different, but, different enough so that it's not categorized as a remaster, but instead a remake. Well, I guess Battlefield will be a total mess too. Nah, I don't think they're going to do that again. There's never been a Battlefield as bad as 2042 that has dropped. Battlefield has had probably one of the best records I've ever seen in video games. By far. Like, going back all the way to, like, Bad Company 1, all the games, even, like, except Hardline. Hardline was iffy. But even then, like, Battlefield does not miss 99% of the time. So I was honestly surprised at how bad 2042 did. And they said too many cooks in the kitchen, get them out. EA will continue the cycle so that Criterion ends up with a very short development time for Need for Speed, meaning we will get another rehash of a previous game. I can see that happening for sure. But you guys also have to realize, and I'm not defending EA, right? I'm not defending them. What they do is terrible, it's scummy, and they need to give they need to give companies, development teams enough time to actually make a great game so that it's not rushed on release and there's not a bunch of problems and there's enough content to satisfy the player base. So I 100% agree. But what I will say is, Need for Speed is not a priority for EA because Need for Speed does not make enough money to be a priority for EA. EA is a company. They care about money at the end of the day. Battlefield destroys Need for Speed in pretty much every single way. The player base, the player numbers, it being on multiple systems, the amount of money that it will make, it destroys the Need for Speed series as a whole. So EA is definitely going to continue to do that because that's where they feel their resources would be best fit at, right? For the amount of money and effort that they're putting in. Okay, I don't get it how this gangbang of developers is gonna make one game alone. It's the first time for me seeing something like this. They do this all the time though. Even though, like, I'll bring back to Call of Duty and Black Ops, right? Even though Treyarch is the main people behind Black Ops, Infinity Ward, Raven, Sledgehammer, all of them, they make stuff for the game. They're just not as pronounced as Treyarch is. Treyarch is the headliner for it. They're basically the ones that will get the smoke if the game turns out to be bad. But other companies do pool their resources in order to make the game come out in a and not a big amount of time, if that makes sense. And also for the game to be relatively good. And because different companies know what different people like based on the games that they make, like Modern Warfare, Black Ops series, all that sort of stuff, right? They're able to combine their resources and combine their thinking process. And now they're able to make a game that can cater towards all types of player bases. And yeah, basically what Height said, Battlefield is very important to EA, player base and money. And therefore, a lot of resources are invested in it, right? Perfect. I'm expecting it to be a bit less bad. That's how low the bar is set these days. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's honestly what it is. But you know what? We're gonna try and make the best of it, right, guys? The game. Hopefully, they have enough time to make this game decent at best. Mid at worst, right? But I hope that the game will be good. I hope it'll be better than Unbound. Low key, that it might be a hard thing to do because if they're not implementing updates and good stuff from the jump, Unbound will automatically be better. Probably implying that there won't be another Need for Speed until Criterion is available again. I don't think EA has another studio that they're willing to move to. Exactly, that's a lot of resources and money that they have to pay to make a studio make Need for Speed. They're still trying to make, yeah, because Battlefield is EA is known for Battlefield and for sports games. That's what EA is known for 99% of the time. So of course they got to bring Battlefield back. You already know how they do, man. They want the money. They want the money. We'll most likely see a new Need for Speed in 2027. Yeah, 2025 I don't see that, or 2026. I don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to release in 2025 just because GTA 6 is coming out and GTA is going to destroy everything. So I don't think that's coming out on that year. And then for 2026, I think they'll still be working on Battlefield, and I think this is the year that they're going to start actually picking up on Need for Speed and actually making it a game. And then 2027 is when they're going to release the game after they've had, you know, about 2.5 to make the game like how they want it, right? Can't wait for Need for Speed Modern Warfare 2027. Zip got jokes. So what the F? So we are again not getting a proper Need for Speed in 3 years time. They let it die already. If you don't want to give them the resources, it needs to be good. I agree with this to an extent. I mean, I wouldn't say let it die, but I do think that they need to plan out things accordingly, EA, so that, you know, these games, we're not waiting for these games 4 or 5 years in the future. Need for Speed is not GTA. GTA has a cult fan base, and which is higher than Need for Speed. And also GTA is constantly getting updates so that they're able to stretch their games out like that, right? Need for Speed is not like that. It's not big enough. Talking about Titanfall. I'd rather wait for the full team to come back to develop the next game. If they do this, the game would be great. It would be fantastic. That might be the best Need for Speed game to ever come out. Unfortunately, it's 99% of the time it's not going to happen. And that's just the unfortunate reality of it. EA is just they're pulling people from here and there. They're laying off people. They're doing all that sort of stuff that they don't need to be doing. And that's the reason why games are bad. That's what it is, 100%. I mean, you saw what they did with they remade those Star Wars games, right? The Battlefront games, and it was terrible. So, wait, why do you even need that many studios on one title? Is it that hard? Yes. Playing Battlefield myself, Battlefield is a very big game. And so is it that hard? Yes. It's not like Call of Duty. A bunch of guns, a bunch of vehicles that Call of Duty doesn't have, a bunch of maps, 64 player maps, 32 on one team and 32 on the other. Yes. And those maps are expansive. Huge maps that can be destroyed. Yes. And is it more efficient? Absolutely. Imagine if you have a team of 30 people and then you pull other people together and now you have a team of 130, right? Obviously 130 would be what EA wants, and probably won't cost as much, and it'll be done quicker. Why not absorb or exchange teams of developers? Who knows, man? Who knows? 3 options. Another studio takes over NFS. Unbound keeps on getting updates for the time being. This is the one that's most likely going to happen right here. Year 3 is probably going to happen for this. And then Need for Speed becomes another abandoned game series. I don't think they'll do this because, like I said before, Need for Speed does have a cult fan base. Granted, it's not huge, but they do. And I think this would kill a little bit of EA. If they were to take Need for Speed down completely, it would kill a little bit of EA for sure. Better cop chases, more cop voice lines. No mech damage on my vehicle just because it's useless and I want to hold a cop chase for hours and hours. Okay, and I want to see more common cars and more wagons estates. Maybe no break the drift. Oh my goodness, y'all are killing me with that break the drift. That one post that came up here like sparked fire. Yep, 2027. Remember when we had a 2-year cycle? Yeah, that's not coming back. This is not coming back, man. I'm sorry to say it, and it sucks, but I don't think that's coming back. I think that something crazy would have to happen in order for that to occur again. Deja vu, absolutely, because this is exactly what happened with Heat. And Heat came out in 2019. Unbound came out in 2022? 19, 20, 21, 22, 4 years, right? So, yikes. If this is, nah, it's not going to be that far. I think the PS6 is coming out in 2030? Like, no, absolutely not. If the next Need for Speed comes out on the PS6, we're cooked. Everybody's cooked. Unbound have been milked at that point. We're done. That's it, man. That's 100% it. Hopefully before 2030. Yeah, for sure. For sure. A fresh new game, a quality product. So you can either want it fast or you can want it done right. That's what I think the 2 options are. If you want it fast, so before 2030, if y'all want it like in 2 years, it probably won't be a fresh new game and it probably won't be a quality product. But if you want this, it'll probably come out in like 2028. So, all right, well, the less of the 2 evils, right? Battlefront, yeah, I don't know, man. With the bombshell of the old Battlefronts, who knows if Battlefront is coming back? And I mean, Battlefront 2 is still getting support, so Alrighty. Yep, developing. They've been doing this for a while though. Like they've been doing Battlefield, I think, for a while, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Criterion has been working on Battlefield for a while now. Next gen. I hope not. I hope not, man. Okay, so here we go with the older games again. I think y'all gotta let these older games go, man. Like it's cool to have nostalgia effects and all that sort of stuff, but y'all gotta let these other games go. Heat is recent in the grand scheme of things, but Underground 2, no. Okay, nothing. You don't expect anything. That's hilarious. Actually, useful muscle cars and pickups. I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, the Dark Horse is a muscle car, and it's very good. Easily like top 10. I mean, you'll have to also realize, right? Muscle cars are going to perform like a muscle car. Pickups are going to perform like a pickup. You should not expect a pickup to destroy a hypercar. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? Muscle cars are going to be slow around turns. They're going to be bulky, and they're going to feel like you're driving a tank because that's what a muscle car is. It's supposed to be straights. So, I mean, yes, I guess, but at the end of the day, your expectations need to be set in reality to an extent, right? No, not all the time. For one, that's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's a that's a second time. Something chaotic. Hopefully. Modded Carbon. Carbon is that's one of my favorite Need for Speed games right here, man. Carbon is up there with Unbound in my opinion. 2026. Yeah, so this, yeah, y'all are definitely on the right track with the date that the game is most likely going to come out. I didn't see a lot of stuff talking about what they want to see in either the next volume or the next game, but we'll go ahead and head back to the other side of the video, y'all.